I should have stopped this one with your father. I'm stopping this one now.
Don't, okay? Let me finish. I gotta prove it.
Prove what?
I'm not a mistake.
And I want to tell you what the people out there are saying about you and what they think about your chances. They say you are inferior. You are just a bunch of niggers and spicks and poor white trash. Education is wasted on you. You cannot learn. You're lost. I mean, all of you. Make liars out of those bastards in exactly 1 hour, and you take that test and pass it and win.
What's up? It's your man Sam with another episode of Side Note, God Map Ministries. Today's topic, the burden of proof. What the subtitle was, when push comes to shove. So anytime we talk about proof, we're talking about the validity, the legitimacy, or the acceptance of something or someone, right?
Hey, can I see your license and registration?
Yes, everything is valid, sir. See, a potential father may ask for a DNA test. Why? To prove the legitimacy of relationship. So again, anytime we have proof, it's for the acceptance of validity or legitimacy of something, right? So for you to seek acceptance, there has to be a place of unacceptance, right? For you to seek legitimacy, someone has to say that you're illegitimate. For you to be validated, that means something has to say that you're invalid. So when we have proof, there has to be a question of disbelief, a naysayer, and or accuser. So in essence, proof is just a measure we use for validation of our existence, right? So the law says I'm innocent until proven guilty, right? So I'm not seeking my innocence, but instead, innocent is what I am. Until what? Until I'm proven guilty. So the burden of proof is not upon me, but instead it's upon the person that's trying to prove me guilty. So in the court of life, at the very moment that I accept this burden of proof, I am now out of order. See, proving ourselves is where we go wrong. See, in a criminal case, the burden of proof is not on the individual, but instead on the state. The burden of proof is not on the defendant, but instead on the prosecutor. Because they're the ones that's trying to prove us guilty. So the burden of proof is not on the accused, but instead on the accuser. Because we're not proving ourselves innocent, but instead innocent is what we are. So Jesus, let's see how he handled his accusers. His accusers said, if you the Son of God, show us something. We need a sign. So he said, an evil and adulterous generation seeking for a sign. And he called them evil and adulterous for a reason. He said, because you're not married or committed to God like you vow or claim to be, but instead you are married and committed to the devil, who is evil, and your agenda is to kill me. So you know Jesus' job, he hip, he understood their agenda, right? So he told them, I ain't gonna give you no sign. No sign shall be given unto you except the sign of Jonas. See, Jonas was swallowed and in the belly of the whale for 3 days, and you'd have left him for dead. But Jonas, being a prophet of God, the life that was in him was too much for death to swallow, so the whale had to spit him up. Same thing with Jesus. He was on the cross, died, and then we was in the belly of the earth 3 days. But on the 3rd day he rose because he life. And life swallowed up death, because when push come to shove, Jesus is Lord. See, often in life we look for validity in the eyes of our accusers, when we really should be looking towards the hills from which cometh our help, because our help cometh from the Lord. See, God ain't looking for us to be perfect or to prove ourselves, but instead to trust him and become who he created us to be. But we still looking for validation in the eyes of our accusers, who will never be able to see who we are, because their agenda is not to see, but instead to condemn. But regardless of what they say, when push come to shove, if we be who we be who he created us to be who we are, it speaks of he who was in us. And that's all the proof we need, all the validation we need. Nothing else needed. This God Map Ministries, this your man Sam. Comment, like, subscribe, share, let me know what y'all think. And until next time, remember, love never has to prove itself, because love itself is the proof.